welcome to this special edition of the City Manager's Report. I'm your host, Jill Fraley-Dotson, and today, Donovan is not with us, but Mayor Pro Tem Jimmy Carter is here with a very special guest, and we are going to update you for the next 30 minutes on the brand new Pikeville Commons shopping area where some of the stores will be open before the end of the year. Welcome, Mayor Pro Tem Jimmy Carter, to the show, as always. Nice to have you.
Jill. It's good to be here.
Donovan's gone, so you step in, and we have a very special guest with us today. Hasn't been here in about a year. Neil Wilson with Realty Link from Greenville, South Carolina. Certainly always a pleasure to have you, and we are going to give an update on our beautiful Pikeville Commons. So welcome back.
Well, thank you, Jill, for inviting us to come back and talk about Pikeville Commons.
You know, the last time that you were here, it was just a vacant piece of land. Empty space, and today when we drive by there, we're going to look at some pictures in just a moment. We have the mold of a Hobby Lobby and Marshall's, Ulta coming. The whole landscape has changed.
Yeah, a lot of construction is taking place. We've actually opened a post office, which is their former location, of course, was in the way of our development.
So we took care of that.
Took care of that. We opened up their facility about a month ago, so they're operating out of their new building. Yeah. The old post office has been demolished, and now we got construction on that side of the property underway. Now.
I was by there last night and had got to see where the former post office was. Everything is gone. New things happening there. But before we get into all of the development, we want to update everybody, Jimmy, on how this entire project started to take shape. It's been a while.
It's been several years, Jill, and you know, the City Commission, I've been on there about 12 years now, and we've been trying to get some kind of project going there for about the whole time that I've been on the commission. And getting the right person, getting the right developer, getting everything to come together. As you know, we were talking earlier, there's so many different moving pieces to this project that it just kind of blows you away sometimes to think what's happened in the process of getting where we're at today is just phenomenal.
A lot of things had to happen. The acquisition of the property, moving of sewer lines, electrical lines, everything had to come together. And a lot of people think that when you announce something that's coming, that it's going to happen in about 6 months, but that certainly is not the way that it happens.
No, it wasn't. And I guess the biggest obstacle, or I won't say obstacle because we overcame it, but it's dealing with federal government and them being able to buy the post office and moving the postal office or the post office next door across the street to open up that for more development.
Yeah, and that was really key, wasn't it, Neil, in getting everything started, because we had to have that footprint of land before we could start the entire strip side.
You're very correct. It was challenging to deal with the post office and get their property under contract. But in addition to that, buying land from the city, bought 2 residential properties, had to buy land from Walmart. We got floodways, flood zones, and then you got the retail tenants ourselves that you have to get them to Pikeville to look at Pikeville as a market, get them to understand the market. So it was logistically, it was started on the project in 2010.
So it's been a while. You have developed properties all over the South, and certainly when you came to Pikeville, saw the great opportunity that it was, but it does take a little bit of time to convince other people to come to Eastern Kentucky, a market that a lot of people unfortunately are not aware of. But when they got here and they saw the great opportunity, they really were not too hard to convince, I would think.
No, you're right. Most retailers sort of track other retailers' sales. So the great thing about Pikeville and the easy story to tell is that the retailers that are here are doing very well. So, you know, it's easy to explain that you're 2 hours from really a good retail market. And so the trade area becomes a 1 hour trade area. So when you look at 1 hour, you've got a lot of density in that 1 hour. So
when you talk about a project like this, a multi-million-dollar project that is going to be Pikeville Commons, some of your other developmental properties that you've had in the South, talk a little bit about how they compare.
This is one of the larger projects that we're doing currently. We have one that is larger in North Myrtle Beach. It's about 330,000 square feet of retail. Similar lineup, you know, to Pikeville. We're doing a Publix grocery store there. And Dick's Sporting Goods, but pretty much the rest of what you see in Pikeville is also the same tenant lineup in Myrtle Beach.
Jimmy, we've seen a lot of hardships because of the coal industry and loss of jobs in our area. This new opportunity, a new facility, is going to bring so many job opportunities to our area, and I know that the City Commission is thrilled with that.
Well, we are, and we're just so thankful that Neil saw the vision and bought into what we were trying to sell everyone. It's not a hard sell, like you said, once you get everybody in here. But you know, the 300 to 400 jobs that are becoming is really going to be phenomenal for this area. And you know, we've already been talking, and I think there's been some talk in the local newspaper about some of the rates of jobs these are bringing in here, and it's probably going to help the area as well, because they're a little higher than what normal rates of pay are around here. So you know, it's going to bring people to the table and hopefully bring some better wages that are well deserved here for this area.
A lot of times when you see new businesses come in, most of those are entry-level positions, but with these types of businesses coming in, they're managerial positions, supervising positions, so it's not just that entry-level job.
Correct, and Neil can tell me if I'm wrong, but there's a certain percentage, and coming from a retail background, there's a certain percentage you've always got to have part-time people to fill those gaps, and you always have a certain percentage of the full-time. So, and then I have seen advertising for managers and supervisors, those type of positions. So, all in all, it's just really going to be great to have these extra jobs for downtown.
I know now that when you go into, I think there's a place on Hobby Lobby's website and also Marshall's, maybe Ulta has one as well, that talk about career opportunities in this area, and you can actually apply online at present time for those jobs that will open up, stores that will open up hopefully at the end of October. Let's talk a little bit about the land now. We have some pictures that have been given to us of the way that we've tracked the progress, if you will. We talked about moving the post office, building the new post office, having to get them open first, but the great thing about the whole Pikeville Commons area is that there's also going to be several housing units available, apartments, very nice apartments that are going to be available. So let's start with the pictures, if we will. We can go see right now. This is where the new post office is located, and of course that chain link fence you see, it's going to come down, right?
That is correct. That's just basically to keep people from wandering onto a construction site.
And above that, talk about what's going to be in the strip area there and then the apartments above.
Okay, there's 1, 2, and 3 bedroom units that will be available sometime mid-September to the end of September, in that time range. The ones directly over the post office are walkout balconies, sort of a garden style. Granite countertops. All of them have casement style windows versus double hung windows. There'll be brick and ephes type finishes, hardwood floors. It's a premium apartment. Certainly
so. Now, as we go along, we see that there are spaces underneath. Now, are those going to be retail spaces?
Yes, Jill. There's about 70,000 square feet of retail planned for that part of the shopping center.
Okay. Do we know what shops are going to be there now, or are they still leasing?
Well, we have a lease signed with China King, which is a Chinese style restaurant. May also have sushi and Japanese on the menu. And then we're working with a national jeweler that we're close to wrapping up, or the largest jeweler in the world. That'll probably take the corner. Working with a vitamin store, trying to finish their lease up, and several local tenants.
Now, what we're looking at right here is the back of the post office, and you can see those are the apartments that you were talking about that have the garden-style balcony walkouts. But so much space has had to be used. That there again is the back side. These apartments will be available by the mid-September, end of September. But you see there are so many of them. How many units are we talking about total?
76 plus 5 handicap, 80, so 81 total.
Very good. Now this will be across from where the former post office is located. And we today are going to announce a couple new stores that are coming in addition to. Do you want to go ahead and talk about those?
Sure. Well, in addition to Hobby Lobby, Marshall's, Ross, Maurice's, Ulta.
Jill's favorite.
Can't forget Ulta. Rack Room Shoes. We now have an agreement with Justice for Girls, Dress Barn, and Petco.
So a lot of people travel that have those little girls starting at an early age to Justice for Girls. What a wonderful addition. Petco, obviously, we're all big pet lovers here. A great opportunity for that. And then Dress Barn, something for the ladies too.
Yeah, so it's a great lineup. It's a similar, 200,000 square feet, a similar lineup that you see in any major city.
Absolutely, and bringing it right here to Pikeville. Well, I know, Jimmy, that is something that always has been a vision to bring. We have, I know, Neil, we talk about different things that we do around our area for tourism, like the water trails, Hatfield McCoy. We have, Dream Stables now gives carriage rides. We have the theater downtown. What another great opportunity to have people come to our area.
Well, I think it's going to be great once this does open up, Jill, and some of these stores do open up in October, November time frame, somewhere around there. At that time, we're scheduled to have the zip line opened, and with everything else going with the downtown Riverfield Stadium seating that's going to be opening up this weekend on the 9th, I believe. Be the first time for that. Bringing the first act in at the end of September, or the end of August rather.
End of August.
Sunday Best, which is the local heroes that do a great job. So tickets are on sale for that. So with the shopping and the tourism and all that going on, I think it's just a perfect circle to get people into Pikeville.
And it all happened so quickly. Last year, like I said, Neil was here with us just last year, and I remember laying out the entire map of the area, and you were showing me where different things were going to go. And it was really hard for me to get my mind around because as from a child, I've seen that area just be an empty piece of land, beautiful as it is. But over the years, with the development of the new Walmart and Lowe's and Applebee's and everything that's right there together on Cassidy Boulevard, and then to see this come along so quickly it allows you to have a lot of pride in your community and the vision that our leaders have. Now, I want to take you back to some more pictures now.
Sure.
We're going to see how the walls have come up at Hobby Lobby. We'll go there now. That is Hobby Lobby on the far end, and then Marshall's, I believe, closer to us in the picture that you see. And this happened really fast. I mean, it was one day there was nothing there, and the next day there were walls. Talk about how they work with that.
Well, Hobby Lobby, anytime you get to a retail that has a certain size box, it's easier to do tilt-up panels. So it is surprising, but what happens is they pour the slab, and then on top of the slab, they pour the panels. And once the panels are cured, then they just raise it. So literally, once the panels are poured in a week, they've got their panels up, and then they can get it in the dry a lot quicker that way. And you're right, that is Marshall's beside it. It's a typical masonry style building, but we have a real good masonry crew that we pretty much take project to project, and they're unbelievable.
How many people do you have working on site at present time on this particular project?
In-house, probably 4 or 5. And then with different contractors, one that's doing the mixed-use part, the retail with the apartments above, is Kelly Construction out of Louisville. And then on the national, I call the national retail side, Hobby Lobby, Marshall's, and so forth, is Vinoy, which are out of Anderson, South Carolina.
When you were talking to the people, getting them from Hobby Lobby and Marshall's and Ulta to come to Pikeville, what was the one selling point that you have? I know you mentioned earlier that they look at other retailers and their rate of sale and things of that nature, but what was the one thing that you think really drew them here?
Just the economy as a whole in Eastern Kentucky is hard to get people past.
Right.
So you have to just sort of convince the retailers to look at Pikeville in a different eye. To look at what Lowe's is doing, look at Walmart and what they're doing. And then you start with one retailer. Once you get one committed, then it's easier to get the second and the third and fourth. It's sort of like herding cats. Trying to get them all in the same little pen is hard to do sometimes. But once you get a line up, it becomes easier for the next tenant to commit.
Yeah. This is not the only project that we have going on right now in our city. Of course, Pikeville Commons has been on the forefront of everyone's mind, but as of late, our partnership with Alltech Jimmy, the brewery distillery, Dueling Barrels that's going to be on Hamley Boulevard downtown, and then the opportunity at Marion's branch. A lot of things happen quickly and move very swiftly, but it's just amazing that all of these different people are wanting to come in and be part of our community.
Well, again, just like Neil said, once you get the first one to commit, it's a lot easier to get the second and the third, and that's what we're finding with the Alltech incentive that they coming in, and they first announced the brewery and the distillery on 2nd Street, and then they started looking. They wanted to do some more projects, and so the property was an issue, as it always is, and then we introduced them to Marion's branch and fell in love with it, and which is going to tie in with the SOAR initiative. And then we just found out, I think it was last week or week before, that there's another company that works directly with Alltech that is hopefully going to announce next week or two, middle August, end of August, about another business going to Marion's Branch alongside the egg farm and the aquatic center. So that's three, and so there's other people at this point with other companies that work directly and indirectly with Alltech, are going to be wanting to come here as well. So it's pretty exciting to see the pieces fall into place.
Certainly is. You see one start, and it really started with the whole Pikeville Commons initiative.
It really did.
In 2010, and then it just really has grown from there in 4 short years. And I say short because it really has flown by. And once the ball got rolling and everything got developed with the post office and those hurdles were crossed, it has all gone very fast, and certainly we're excited to get things open. Now, I am going to put you a little bit on the spot, like I promised I would. I'm not going to lock you into certain dates, but we do have some dates that we can mention that things should be open to the public.
Hobby Lobby and Marshall's are probably the two that is further along. They'll definitely open this year. I'm going to say probably the first week in October, within a few days of that. We're also very hopeful to get Petco and Ulta in, and possibly Rack Room Shoes, possibly. It really is just weather sensitive, and when you get into the winter of Kentucky, you can't pave.
Isn't it?
So it's it's a matter of getting everything on grade and getting the pavement down.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned the weather because we've had a couple different open dates, but because of the terrible harsh winter that we had last year, that really sets a construction process back. So talk about the hurdles that you've had to cross.
We actually started on a project, I believe, November, December of last year. So we thought we would be on track to have the apartments open in time for the Pikeville College starting back, students starting back to college. But we missed that date, and a lot of it was the harsh winter, and then the other part is just we've had an extraordinary amount of rainfall.
Yeah, and that's something that you really can't help. Mother Nature is one that you don't want to quarrel with.
No, it's just not much you can do about it.
No, there's not much. But the apartments, some of them will open up in September.
Correct.
And leasing opportunities for that, we're working with, is it Shirley Blackburn, AAA Real Estate?
Shirley Blackburn's doing a great job of managing the leasing process and finding the residents.
Yeah. If you do need more information on how to lease properties, you can certainly call AAA Real Estate. Shirley will take care of you, or one of her realtors will, and they have all the information there that you need. So we want to make sure that people know how they can find that. Now, Jimmy, other projects that may be in the work for our city that you can reveal, or I know that you're tight-lipped on some of the things.
Well, there are a couple of things that are coming down the pipe, and not at liberty at this point to say anything, but some more pretty exciting stuff, and I don't know what shows. I can't remember what shows have been since we talked about the York House, and
we have not even talked about the York House.
So that's something that's very, very big deal last week, and
let's
we just
touch on that for a little bit too, because I know Neil's a realty man, obviously, and loves properties, and I don't know if you like older properties and the restoration of those, but we have a wonderful initiative going on now to restore the York House. Jimmy and I were there last week together. Wonderful dedication. Kentucky Heritage Council gave $15,000, I believe, to start the process with the roof. And there's going to be a lot of different committees that people can really take part and have ownership of that house.
Well, and it's very important for everyone to get involved in this project because the monies are all going to have to come from donations and grants and that type of thing to get this. And hopefully, the state will come through a little bit and help us, and Historical Society and those type people will come. But we still need donations and volunteers to come and help do the cleanup, and of course the roof is going to be the first.
The grit work.
Yes, that's going to have to be done immediately to save the interior from any more decay.
I believe there's going to be a construction committee, a historical fact committee, cleanup committee, and fundraising committee. And everyone, if you would like to be part of that, can contact Minta Cheney at the Main Street office.
Yes, that's correct, and she's there 24/7. I think
there.
She's always there. So and you'll be able to get up with her. But what a great job she has done to get everything put together for that dedication. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention Joanne Johnson and her family for a lot of people say she pretty much donated it to the city because for $150,000, I'm not sure what that property appraises for, but right on
Guarantee
Main
it's more
Street.
than that.
It's a lot more than 150,000. So it's pretty much a gift to the city, and we were just tickled to death to be a part of it and being able to preserve our heritage.
What a beautiful gift. It is one of 5 of the oldest homes in the city that will now be restored to all of its glory. So we're certainly excited about that. Not only, we're talking about Pikeville Commons today, the update with Neil Wilson from Realty Link, and always a pleasure to have Neil here. Now, when we open everything up, you're going to come back.
I will.
You're
We'll
definitely
do a
come
ribbon
back.
cutting.
We will do a ribbon cutting.
With Jimmy.
With Jimmy, we certainly will. The other things I do want to mention, Jimmy, for our viewers, to update them on some things that are opening up. Muscle on Main still continuing. Great event if you've not been there.
Oh, absolutely. Award-winning,
Really is, yeah.
multi-award-winning Muscle on Main. I think we're having some more guests for the month of August. Susan Roush and Donnie Bowles will be there.
Those are no light names.
No, they're not. And they have some pretty unique drag cars that they drag Mustangs, which is a little dear to me is that they run on propane. So it's pretty cool to see them. Yes, and it's very exciting. I'm sure they're going to get an opportunity to drag those at the Riverfield Saturday night for the Saturday edition of or the August edition of Muscle on Main.
Now, Neil, I don't know if you've been able to go by and see much of town since you've been in. I know you've just been here for a little bit, but we have our new terrace seating at the Riverfield Arena that is also open now. Jimmy, going to be for Muscle on Main as well.
It will be open for the 9th, for the Saturday the 9th for Muscle on Main, and again for the concert at the end of August with Sunday Best, which should be exciting.
McCoy Heritage Days coming up. They're going to be the break-in act. So if you're not doing anything on the last weekend of the month, you can come back.
I'll try to make it.
Now, just a lot of different projects going on, and we always try to update our viewers on what is going on, the new things that are coming, because it seems like every week when you and I speak or when Donovan and I talk to one another during our shows that there's always something new coming. When we think we've got one project completed, well, the other one has already started months before then, and then we're looking at things for next year and the following year with a comprehensive plan, and the City Commission really is so dedicated to making sure those things take place.
Well, you got to have a plan, you got to have a roadmap to get where you're going, and we're, we follow our comprehensive plan as close as we can, and we're just very, very excited for all the projects that's come together for the comprehensive plan to work, just like the Pikeville Commons. I mean, it's the housing, it's the retail, and everything that we've needed to make some of this stuff happen. And you were talking about Dream Stables earlier, and I was, the last Friday night on Main Street, I was just noticing there was people standing in line for the horse carriage rides around town. And I thought, how great is that? And we had a lot of people from the Heritage Council that were in for a convention that weekend. And let me tell you, they said, this is not what we envisioned Pikeville being. We've heard about Pikeville. Some people have never been here before that I spoke with said we just couldn't believe it, and they were just overtaken by everything and where our downtown and our city's growing. I'm
glad you mentioned that. Now let me ask you, had you ever been to Pikeville before you started working on this particular project?
No. Kohl's Department Stores, when they were in their growth stage, is the one that asked me to look at Pikeville. So I actually came up on a Friday evening and spent the weekend. Just to try to understand it. And normally I don't do that, but normally it's not a town of this size that has this much retail, retail sales, I should say. So I came in and spent the weekend. It was the first time I've been here. I love the town.
You loved it. Kind of fell in love with it.
Yeah, I just fell in love with it.
And we've kind of adopted you too.
Well, I appreciate that.
I know that I keep updated with you, and I'll say, has he been in town? He's been here. Yeah, he's been here, this and there and the other. And we keep missing each other, but today we finally got you here for the update. I
appreciate coming by, and I have fell in love with Pikeville. City's been great to work with. City Council's been tremendous. The whole town's been really, I have nothing bad to say about it.
So now once this project is completed, in this phase that we're in, do you feel that there might be more coming?
Well, I mean, Pikeville's real estate challenged as far as finding flat land. Yeah, I think there are other retailers that have missed this opportunity. You definitely need a sporting goods store, either a Dick's Sporting Goods or Academy or somebody should look at this market. There's other retailers, that are not here. I'm just waiting for another piece of flat land to be put in front of me.
Well, Jimmy, There's your task.
That's the next thing.
We'll try to
Can you
find it.
move a mountain?
Oh, we have.
We have.
I know.
I rode through it last night. As a matter of fact, the cut through from the bottom up. We can move just about anything.
I've seen it.
It can be done. Well, Neil, like I said, always a pleasure to have you here. We expect to have you back in a couple of months, very soon, for the ribbon cutting and grand opening of our Hobby Lobby. We'll show one more picture of Hobby Lobby and Marshall's that will be opened up. There you see the sign, Hobby Lobby. That will be at the end of October, and then there will be Marshall's right next to it. So a lot of land that's going to be filled up in a short amount of time, obviously inviting everybody to come to our beautiful city and our area. Pikeville and Pike County, so much to offer. And like you said, 2 hours away is the closest retail hub. We don't have to travel anymore once these places get opened up.
We are the retail hub now.
We are going to be the retail. Absolutely,
Yeah.
we are certainly that. This has been a great time. Thanks so much for sitting down with us. I know both of you are very busy, but certainly dedicated to letting everybody know in the community what great things are coming, the time frame in which they're going to be opened, and the Christmas shopping season is going to be a whole lot different this year, I think.
Be totally different.
Pikeville will be the destination. Certainly so. Jimmy Carter, Pikeville Mayor Pro Tem, thanks so much. Pleasure to have you here. And as always, Neil Wilson from Realty Link, the developer of the Pikeville Commons, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
We'll
Thank
be
you for
back
asking
soon
me.
with a lot more fun things.
Thank you,
I think
Jill.
so.
Thanks, Jill.
This has been a special edition of the Pikeville City Manager's Report. Thank you so much for joining us, and continue to watch for programming on more stores coming and groundbreaking and ribbon cuttings coming soon. Thanks so much.